Hello. What I thought I'd do in this tutorial is something I've been meaning to do for quite a long time and thought may as well do it now since I wanted to make a video. I'm going to show how to do a Radiant quest. Now, one thing to bear in mind before you start following this tutorial is you should probably make sure you have some idea of how the dialogue system works, because I'm only going to do the very most sort of bare minimum dialogue possible. So you'll be able to speak to the NPC, ask him if he's got any work, then turn in the work when you're finished, and then that's going to be basically all there's going to be to this quest. So what I'm going to do to begin with is create an NPC who'll be doing the talking. So I just right click new there, and I'm going to give him a unique ID, so I'm going to call him Rad Tutorial NPC. I'm going to call him Radiant NPC. And I'm going to make sure he's unique so that we can create a unique alias pointing to him later. Now I'm going to create my quest. So I'm going to right click new, and I'm going to create first of all a dialogue quest for our NPC, and I'm going to create a separate quest to serve as the Radiant quest, because the Radiant quest is going to have to stop and start a lot, so I want to keep the NPC's dialogue always available. So I'm going to write rad shoot NPC base quest. So I always like to create these little base quests, give it a priority 45, keep all that the same, and I'm just going to give it some kind of name like dialogue for our NPC, like that. Now we have to OK out of it first because all the buttons aren't available. So now I'm just going to look up rad shoot like that, NPC base quest. And I'm going to set up some very basic dialogue for him to begin with. So we're going to need to create our alias, which is going to point to the tutorial NPC. So I'm just going to call him NPC. And unique actor, rad chut NPC. If he doesn't show up here in this list, reopen your NPC and just double check that unique checkbox has been checked, because sometimes it'll kind of uncheck itself when you make the NPC for the first time. So I'm just going to go OK there. We're going to create a scene now. Right click new in this scenes thing. I'm just going to call it NPC scene, like that. Click on the scene to make sure we're selected on it. Right click new actor, and NPC, the alias we created earlier, will show up. And he is here, but he's blocked by this grey box which sometimes appears on my screen. So if I zoom in, it'll be there. And if we do right click add phase ends, we can see it a little bit better. Check player dialogue, and that brings up the greetings. So this will be the greeting that the NPC will say to us. So we're just going to delete that bit and call it greetings. So that's creating the greetings here. Hello, I'm an NPC. Like that. Change. Okay. I'm going to have that requires player activation. And since this is going to be the only... Actually, I'll show you how to do it the main way. So what I'm going to do is just go to this quest data as well, and in this dialogue quest function, I'm just going to right click new, get is alias ref, alias equals NPC. So now what that does is that just blocks this greeting so that only our NPC can say it. In fact, it says hello, I'm NC. NPC. I'm an NPC. There we go. So now I'm going to right click new action, create some player dialogue, but I'm actually going to leave it there for now because I'm going to want to condition this dialogue based on the stages of our Radiant quest. And the stages of our Radiant quest have not yet been created. So we're going to create a Radiant quest now. So we're going to right click new and create a new quest. I'm going to call it, I've been calling it tutorial rad quest. This is going to be the main quest. Priority, I usually do 45, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter in this instance. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure those are unchecked, and then we're going to hit OK and save. So if I've done it the wrong way around, that's annoying. I put my prefix as the opposite thing. So when it comes to Radiant quests, for a few things we're going to have to decide. So we're going to have to decide what we want our Radiant quest to be, in terms of where we want to pick something up, we want to kill someone, we want to go somewhere. And we're going to have to decide on, once we've decided on that, we have to make a few other decisions. So, for example, if it was going to be kill somebody, we have to decide who we want to kill, whether it wants to be a raider, just anybody, a super mutant, a ghoul. I thought what I would do in this instance is I would just have kill our raider, as many of the Radiant quests tend to be. So I'm going to sort of show you how the Radiant Quest works, and then you should be able to take this formula and apply it to anything you want. So we're going to need to create a few different aliases now. So first of all, we're going to create a location alias. And this is going to bring up this dialog here. So we're going to want to give it a name, so I'm going to call it Raider Location. So what we're going to want to do is use this find matching location, and we're going to right click new, and we're going to look for location has keyword, and we're going to search for a particular keyword to point to a location which contains raiders. So let me just try and think. Loc. So it'll begin with LOC. Here we go, look. Loc Enk, and these are all the different types of enemies that we can have. Loc Enk, bugs, children of Atom, deathclaws, ghouls, gunners, and I'm going to select raiders like that. And now this will want to be on no matter what enemy type that you have. So I'm going to search for now location has ref type, and I'm going to just search for boss. Okay. So now it'll search for any location which has the keyword Lonka Enk Raiders and the location ref type of boss. I'm just going to dive into the locations and show you what all that means. So locations, we're going to want to think of a location which has raiders. So let's think of maybe the Federal Supply cache, this one. Federal Ration Stockpile. So we'll see it has this series of keywords attached to it. So Loc Enk Raiders means that it contains raiders. Loc Set Military means that it uses military construction devices, military construction components. So if you were wanting to look for a location which was specifically military, you could use the Loc Set Military one. And then you'll see here boss. So this enemy type here, DN040LVL Raider Boss, has this reference attached to it, which points to, which is labelled as being boss. So I've just double clicked on that and it's going to load up the location so I can show you what we mean. Okay, so that's loaded up now. So we can see this dude here who is highlit and has this kind of red floaty thing on top of him. That means that he has a location ref type attached to him. And that is attached via, if I can get close enough to actually click on it, there we go. Location ref types here, boss. So what we've done, in a sense, with this quest, is we have created a location alias which will automatically search out any location which has the raiders keyword and the boss attached to it, and that will fill. But that on its own isn't enough. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to actually point to the boss itself. So I'm going to want to right click, new reference alias, Raider boss, and now we're going to want to do this location alias reference thing, and we're going to click here and our location alias will show up, and now in ref type we're going to search for boss. So what this will do is this location alias will fill first, then once this has filled, this alias will search out the ref type boss within this location here, and will fill with the boss. So this is going to be the guy that we have to kill, and this is going to be the place where we have to kill them. So I'm just going to click out and save again. And now what we're going to want to do, actually we'll set up our stages in a sec, we'll forget about that. Quest stages, so first thing I'm going to want to do is set up our opening stage 5. Right click new, I'm just going to put in here set objective displayed 5. If we compile that, that should work. Now I've got into a habit where every time I do anything in a quest, I always OK out immediately and save just in case it crashes, because it has a tendency to crash abruptly. So now we're going to right click, new, and create our objective 5. So now what we can do is we can use text replacement in this instance, so we can have our objective display the names of these aliases. So we can either just write something generic like kill the raider, or we can actually have the name of a boss show up. So if I were to write kill, oh, that says col, kill alias equals raider boss, and the triangle brackets, in alias equals, I can't remember what I called it, I'm going to have to zoom over to the other one, raider location. Now this text replacement will automatically fill with the name of the location. So now if we go back to our stages, we've defined our objective. So if we want to create a new stage here, and this is going to be the stage that plays when we kill the raider. So I'm just going to add in my designer notes, we've killed the raider, so that's just for our reference. Set objective displayed, let's go completed. Completed 5, set objective displayed 10. And if I've typed that correctly, that should, yep. And now what we're going to want to do is set it up so that when this guy dies, he will automatically set that stage. So we double click on our alias, and we add a script to him here. So we should be able to add a default script, so I'm just going to add on death into the front there. Default alias on death, nice and simple. Stage to set, it'll set stage 10. So now what happens is once this raider dies, it will set stage 10, which will complete objective 5, which we've already defined, and it will display objective 10, which we have not yet defined. Quest objectives 10. Return to the NPC. And what I haven't done is created an alias for the NPC, because we need to create aliases for anything that we want to guide the player to as well. So we can go NPC, and we can just reuse exactly the same. We can just go tutorial, what was he called? Rad tutorial NPC. Okay, and now we can set up our objective markers. I'm just going to save. So when we're setting up our objective markers, we want to kill the raider boss. So I'm going to right-click New and select Raider Boss, so that will direct us to the boss. And now we can right click New in here, and that will direct us to the NPC when we're done. And now the final thing we're going to want to do is set up a stage to run when we've spoken to the NPC and turned in the quest. So I'm going to click 15, I'm just going to write in here stop quest. So now I'm going to set objective completed 10, and I'm going to put in here stop, open brackets, close brackets, like that. And it's important we stop the quest, because if we want this to run repeatedly, we have to make sure that it stops. So when it stops, all its aliases will be cleared. And one last super important thing to remember to do, check this complete quest box so that the quest actually, completes. And as a last little thing, we're going to want to set up some completion experience. We're going to set up it as a side quest for stat tracking. And for its completion XP, we'll just add XP Radiant. So now that that's set up, we can return to our NPC's dialogue quest and set up all the different dialogue things. So I'm only going to bother setting up the one set of dialogue. So if you are wanting to make something more complex, you need to have a bit of a better understanding of dialogue. But this tutorial isn't really about dialogue, so I'm just going to do the most basic thing. So I'm going to put got any work, question mark, for the player's topic, got any work. So for this first got any work section, there are two instances in which we're going to want this dialogue to appear. So that will be, first of all, we're going to do get quest running, and choose our tutorial radiant quest, equals 0. So that will be if we've not even started the quest. Then I'm going to click or, and I'm actually going to create a new one for get stage. And the same quest, the, what was it called? Tutorial Radiant quest. If it equals 5, so i.e. if it is the first stage of the quest whereby we have only just accepted it and we're being told to go, I'm going to change the order of these, and we're being told to go and kill the raider. So now I'm going to go over to his response dialogue. And I'm just going to have him say something super basic like, yes, I need you to kill a raider for me, exclamation mark. Then for his response, I'm going to want that to be get quest running, tutorial radiant quest, again equals 0, so this one will only play when the quest hasn't even started yet. So what we're going to want to do next is create a fragment. And we're going to create a property, a quest property, to point to the quest we made earlier, which is called rad quest. So that has now appeared as automatically filled in because it matches the name of an existing quest. So now we go rad quest.set stage 5. So that will launch the quest and mean the quest is now running, which means this initial opening dialogue won't run. And although there are default scripts you can add for this instance, the default scripts will only ever run the once, and so because we want it to run over and over and over again, we want it to run every single time. So I'm going to type up a little dialogue fragment for this instance. So now I'm going to have a little bit of dialogue for when the quest is already running, but it isn't ready to be turned in yet. So if the player were to ask, got any work a second time, I'm just going to have him say, you've already got some work, get it done. And then I'm just going to set this so that this runs when the stage equals 5, i.e. the stage we set before, which was to have it only run when the quest is active, i.e. it's not ready to get turned in yet. So finally I'm going to create a stage to allow the player to turn in the quest. So I'm just going to have them write, it's done. I'd better give it a prompt as well. It's done. Okay. And now I want to set that up so that this will only appear when it equals 10. And as you'll recall, 10 is our turn-in stage. And now I'm going to have right-click new. Well done. I knew you could do it. I'm going to have him say thanks as well. So he's a polite NPC. And again, this one will only run when the stage equals 10. So now we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to create another fragment. So we're going to start by creating a property to point to our quest, which was called shoot_rad quest. Okay. So shoot_rad quest.setStage 15. So that will set the turn off stage. So once stage 15 is set, it will complete the quest, shut down the quest, which means that got any work can be said again. One extra thing I want to do, just to make 100% sure, because I can never remember off the top of my head if this is necessary. I've got into the wrong quest. This raider boss alias, I'm just going to check these stores text and users stored text, just to make absolutely sure that it does show up correctly in our alias. Do the same thing there, stores text. So now for my last thing, we haven't named our quest yet, so we can name it whatever we want. So kill the raider alias equals raider location. And the last thing we need to do is to put our NPC in the world so that the quest can actually be done. And what I would advise doing is if you want to make any more types of Radiant quest, for example a quest where you might have to fetch a particular item, you should have a look at the existing quests that are Radiant. So for example, if we put RRR in here, we can pull up all the different kinds of Railroad Radiants, for example, which are a pretty good way of checking out all the various different things that you can do with Radiant quests, because they can be quite powerful. You can do all kinds of randomized quests with them. What the hell was he called? Raz tutorial? Yeah. So now we just put him in a world. And he's just going to be naked. Like, I've not really bothered setting up much to do with him. So now what I'm going to do is enable all of this, go into the game, and we're hopefully going to demonstrate that working. So here's our tutorial NPC. So let's have a word with him. Hello, I'm an NPC. And because our quest isn't running, we can ask him if he's got any work. Yes. I need you to kill a raider for me. Nice. Now we've got to go to River Beach Station. And I'm just going to demonstrate as well that got any work should now also be showing up, because yeah, like we conditioned it to happen either if a quest isn't running at all, or if a stage is 5. But if a stage is 5, he tells us to get on with our goddamn work. So let's go and do what he says. Right, so we're looking for a raider survivalist. And I'm getting a lot of dramatic music because people outside were fighting me. But yeah, let's just run past everybody else. Do we go through the train? Everybody's already fucking dead. But not these guys. So that stuff coming up in the corner is just for a little mod that I made for myself, where it's like adds New Vegas style challenges to the game, but it's not finished because I haven't done any rewards yet. So there's our Raider Survivalist. Oh god, the healing. Dead. Nice. And now, because she's dead, return to the NPC has come up. And let's wrap this thing up. It's done. I knew you could do it. Thanks. That's very gratifying. And now we can speak to him again.
Excuse me.
Hello, I'm an NPC, and got any work should come up. Yep, got any work? Yes, I need you to kill a raider for me. And now it's loaded us up a whole new set of boss and locations. So this time we have to go to... If we re-enable the quest. We're going all the way here now to the Lexington Apartments. So that will just run on and on and on endlessly. There's no point in me showing you me running through the entire thing again. So basically, that's a whole quest, which is now incompletable because I just killed this NPC. Hopefully that was clear. I had to edit a little bit because I made a few mistakes. Hopefully those edits are clear. Yes, hopefully that was clear and not too confusing. So you might notice a few bits of chopping and changing. But just if you do have some trouble, you can always look at what the base game does for guidance and see if that gives you any help. Because there's quite a lot you can do with Radiant quests. So anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. There's no need to listen to any more of this. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. It's like, man, if only there was anything written on this folder, then I would be reading it.